We are back for another exciting episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play. I have to apologize. We're a couple minutes late, but I'm going to blame Google for that because Google has been making, just in the last few days, has been making some changes with how they're allowing broadcasters to stream live to YouTube. They've made that change literally in the last 24 hours, and I was up late last night trying to figure that out, but we're here, we're good, we're live, and I'm pumped because we're going international with tonight's guest. And it's funny, and I'm gonna take a second to revisit last week's guest real quick because golf.com just today, maybe yesterday late, posted a video of the 1996 US Amateur, and they posted a snippet of the video called The Marker, where Tiger placed his mark. Who he was playing, Steve Scott, who was last week's guest on the Wednesday Match Play, actually informed him that he hadn't moved his mark back. Long story short, I watched the entire video today. It's only about 12 minutes long, but it was really enjoyable. And it was cool having met Mark last week on the show and talked to him a little bit about his time with Tiger on the golf course to watch that. So visit golf.com, their video section, check that out, and make sure you visit my YouTube channel to see last week's Wednesday Match Play. But tonight's Wednesday Match Play, presented by Eat Sleep Golf, is, like I said, we're going international. Now, the focus of tonight is on golfasian.com, but we're not going necessarily to the website. We're going to Cambodia, where Mark Siegel is joining us, who is not necessarily working. He's playing, which it's probably based on what he does, a little bit of work. So I'm going to welcome Mark to the Wednesday Match Play and let him take a couple of minutes to introduce himself, introduce the brand, the website, and talk to us a little bit about what he does. So, Mark, welcome to the Wednesday Match Play.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ricky. I'm really glad to be here. It's so exciting to spread the word about golf in Asia, a little bit about Golf Asian. All of our tours, which we organize to Asia, can be found on www.golfasian.com. And right now I'm in Siem Reap, Cambodia. We're playing 3 fantastic golf courses here for the last 3 days. I'm on my way back to Bangkok, Thailand. And next week is up to Beijing, China. So all about the growing areas of golf, great courses. Like I said, eat, sleep, and play golf. That's the job, that's the hobby, and all in one.
That's pretty life. Cool that you've been able to take a passion of golf and make it a career. And I'm excited to learn more about it. I have a ton of questions, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So you mentioned Bangkok, and it was established in Bangkok, and that's where you currently live. And this is a little, so I have 3 main passions in my life. I have dance music, golf, and craft beer. So Bangkok is really big in dance music. So the dance music scene is huge in Bangkok. And there's only a handful of cities, Ibiza being one, Las Vegas being one, Bangkok being one, where dance music is really big. So before we even start talking golf, let's a little self-serving here. Let's talk a little bit about dance music. So in your opinion, have you seen the dance music craze in Bangkok, and have you had any chance to experience a little bit of that while living there?
Well, all you have to do is walk around town late at night, and you could see people trance music and house techno, and lots and lots of the people that we bring over for golf even love to go out to the discos, doing a little partying, and just kind of blend in with the local scene. That's the beauty about it. You don't have to be staying with just visitors. You're one of the guests from when you arrive, whether it be on the golf course, off the golf course, at the hotel, or out at the dance hall. So it's a good place. You're right.
That makes me happy because, so to give you a little backstory, my significant other and I take a European beer trip every year. And 2 years ago, we decided to make it an Asian beer trip, so to speak. And we did parts of China. And we regretted not making it to Bangkok. And that's on our short list, not next year, but the year after. I have a feeling that the Bangkok and Ibiza are going to be 2 of our spots. We like to do 3 countries at a time. So we'll do Bangkok and head to Ibiza and then pick one more along the way. Maybe make it a hashtag European dance music trip. But that's cool to hear that the dance music is alive and well in Bangkok. So now back to golf. Let's go back to the website and all that you've done. Now, you've won with the website. You've won some World Golf Awards, and that is a big organization and some pretty impressive awards that you have won. So talk a little bit about that, how you got recognized by that, and what it means to you and the website to have had those accolades presented to you.
Well, it's a real honor. I mean, it caught us actually by surprise. We were just working away, trying to promote golf tourism. One day we looked back and realized we're actually the biggest golf travel company in Asia, specializing exclusively only in golf tours for golfers. World Golf Awards contacted us and, let us know that we were up for quite a number of awards the first year they released them. And, luckily things worked out well, and we won Best Tour Operator in Asia the first year, Best Tour Operator in Thailand the second year. And this year we're being nominated for the Pioneer in Golf Tourism Award. That's going to be a global award. So I'm pretty psyched up, and it's nice to see all the hard work paying off and other organizations starting to recognize us. So it all works in synergy, and we're really excited.
That is really cool. And like I said, I mean, I work for Troon, as you know, and a lot of our international facilities have been nominated and have won those awards. And that's kind of like the Grammys of the golf business. So that's very cool that you've been able to be affiliated with those and to have won those awards. And I don't want to say too early, because the company's been around for quite a few years, but regardless of how long the company's been around, that's definitely something to be proud of. And I'm honored to be able to have
we
this
share
conversation with you for that.
Awards. Great. Yeah,
so let's say I'm talking about booking a vacation or a trip. Let's say it's just me. I'm going to book a vacation. I want to come to Asia, and I want to book 10 days, 7 rounds of golf, 7 different golf courses. Give me a ballpark of what that's going to cost. 5,000, 10,000, 12,000. Does it depend on where I stay, where I play? Like, what's the expectation as somebody coming in that says 10 days, 7 rounds of golf? What's it going to cost me?
Other than the airfare getting here, which varies a lot, it'd probably be about $1,500 on the ground. Not 5,000, 1,500.
That's absolutely, that's almost cheap.
That's the appeal. Besides the golf, hotel, private driver, transfer the whole way. Like you mentioned earlier, you're basically in resort areas that have some of the best nightlife, restaurants, culinary desires, and culture tourism. It's just a blast. People can't believe how high a quality it is for the prices that are charged here. It's really a great value for money, considering the other options in North America, or Europe, or South Africa, things like that.
Well, I haven't planned a golf trip in a while, and as a part of my European beer trip next year, I'm playing literally 1 round of golf, so I'll be renting clubs. But I think that knowing and hearing that price, I mean, the airfare may cost that much or more, but to know that it's that affordable makes me want to jump on a plane and head that way. Because I really, when I was in China and the cities that I've been in Asia, I have had a really good experience, and I can't imagine what the golf would be like in those areas. So I'm a younger guy, a young professional, and I want to come, but who is your target demographic? And again, Eat Sleep Golf provided a ton of good questions, and I'm going to have to ask intermixed, because I've got a bunch of questions myself, because I'm spoiled with having my interests in international travel. So who is your target demographic?
Well, there's probably 2 main groups that you see coming over here. The first are couples that like to travel, either significant others or husbands and wives. Usually come over 2 or 3 couples at a time. Very, very luxurious golf trip. All the stops in terms of the main tourist areas, 5-star hotels, the top PGA courses, and stay at a beach resort or a mountain retreat, a private villa, whatever their preference is, one area. Those people, mainly in the, let's say, 50s to 70s years old. Then the second group is we have huge amount of club golfers traveling either as groups of buddies or as club-sponsored trips. Most of those people come from nearby countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Middle East. But we're starting to see more and more Americans, Canadians coming over that way, because after they've been to Las Vegas or, let's say, Palm Springs or Cabo, they're looking for other alternatives for kind of new vacation spots that are good value and have great entertainment after golf. So that's the 2 demographics we go after.
Now I'm glad that you bring up the Middle East. So the Middle East is just exploding, and that's become a very popular golf tourist destination. Now, do you think that your growth with your customers coming from the Middle East has anything to do with the growth of expats moving and working and living in the Middle East, completely separated from golf? Do you think that that's had something to do with your growth, with your target coming from that part of the world?
Oh, definitely. The 100% of the people that are traveling from or to there are Westerners. They're expatriates who are working in big corporations, and golf is provided for them at their home, and then also they're traveling. So you're right, it's a big tourist destination and also a big outbound destination for foreigners living in the area.
That's really cool. So now I said I'm going to book a trip for myself because, you know, unless a couple of my buddies want to come along with me. But what's the largest group you've booked? 10, 12, 15 guys? Or have you gone just really big and booked some big groups?
Yeah, we handle a group of 600 every year in June. We actually take over a city. It's a little bit like the Myrtle Beach amateur event. We do it the same type of format. It's a world amateur event here in Thailand. And we take 6 golf courses over 6 days and about 3 hotels. And the whole town basically, it's in the summertime, which is normally a little slower here. All the shops, restaurants, dance halls open, particularly just for the group we bring in. And that's every June in a seaside resort in Thailand.
No, I love it that you keep going back to the dance halls. So continue to do that for the duration of this interview. I love that. So now, Eat Sleep Golf had a really good question. And this is because I'm thinking of when I book my trip that it's going to be customized because I'm going to say I want to play these 7 courses or these 10 courses or what have you. So are trips customized or do you have predetermined packages or kind of what's, as somebody that just lands on the website for the first time, what's my experience going to be when booking my vacation?
Yeah. On the website, there's a lot of sample packages, different ideas for tours, different suggestions. Frankly speaking, 90% of the people, when they see that, they have no clue what one course is compared to another or where one destination is and related to another. So most people make inquiries are very general in nature. Like you said, you want to come for 10 days, play 7 rounds. What do we suggest? And oftentimes we talk to them about, well, what's a handicap, how difficult the course they want, how much travel they're willing to entail to get to and from the course. Do they want a beach resort, a mountain resort? They like cooler weather. They like tropics. And once we get a few answers, we can propose a very tailor-made package to exactly meet the needs of the people that want to come.
Oh, that is awesome. The more you talk, the more I want to come. So there are a lot of tour operators out there and a lot of people a lot of companies booking these vacations and these trips. I mean, I can go through a gamut of these companies, but I don't know a lot of them internationally. So where you're at in the space that you're in, are there, I guess is the first question, are there competitors? And if so, who are some of your biggest competitors? And maybe you don't even look at them as competitors.
There's a number of golf tour operators. Most of them are located in the big cities around the world. We're actually doing the tours for them as well. So in some sense, they're a competitor, but obviously they're not on the ground in Asia. So when they get people wanting to go to Asia, probably 90% of the tour operators, say in the United States or Canada, we're handling their clients as they come to Asia. And that's about 50% of our business in itself. And then the other 50% is directly with club golfers or independent travelers who are comfortable enough to deal with companies in other countries. That's pretty strong as well.
So this is a question that's not on my list of questions, and we talk about this having started in Bangkok, and I'm sorry, but you don't look like you're from Bangkok, nor do you sound like it. So where are you originally from?
Originally born in New York, went to school in Florida, and the last time I lived in the United States was in Northern California.
Awesome. You've been all over the world. You were well-traveled. I love that. So you have a newsletter on your website that folks can sign up for. 1, what type of content are you putting into that newsletter? And 2, if I sign up for that, how often am I going to receive a newsletter from you?
We send out a monthly newsletter to currently about 160,000 golfers around the world, all of who have expressed interest of some sort or another about golfing in Asia. The main content of the newsletter is updates on the courses in the area. Let's say one course may be holding a tournament, another course may be building 18 more holes, another course is being sold, things like that. And then we have a lot of tips on playing golf, traveling to Asia, some type of people's experience. We have stories of travelers in the newsletter who have come and what they found out, and we have some interesting pictures. Some serious, some funny, mostly are lighthearted, things that'll make you smile, make you laugh. Not just pretty golf course pictures, but people with caddies, people after golf. And it's a nice way to bring some smiles to people's workday. Normally, most people open it, read it, and very happy they subscribed, as opposed to most of the newsletters these days, which is trying to sell you something. Our newsletter has pretty much nothing what we sell.
That's awesome. I actually just this morning I unsubscribed from a newsletter that is all they do is try to sell me stuff. So I was like, yeah, I don't need to buy that.
I don't need to buy it. But it's good. People, I usually put a little story of myself. Like this month, I'll probably put on my trip to Cambodia what I saw, maybe a picture of some elephant on a golf course or something that you wouldn't see in Sports Illustrated or some, you know, high gloss magazine, but something easy enough to take a picture and show the world. So it's a good,
they have capybara in Rio de Janeiro at the Olympics, but they got elephants where you are. So I'm sorry, but I'm more focused on elephants on the golf course than I am capybara. So now let's say that she comes with me. She doesn't play golf. Are you able to help me plan things for her to do as well? There are a lot of must-see, must-do things to do in all of these different parts of Asia. Are you in that vein, or is it just kind of, we're going to do the golf, we're going to tell you where to stay, and you figure the rest out for yourself?
Most of the groups have some non-golfers with them. So we usually offer 4 different activities for the non-golfers. One is some sightseeing tours, see the local hotspots, famous places. Second one is most of the non-playing partners are female, so we do a very interesting shopping trips to the local markets. Sometimes that takes longer than golf, in fact, and the golfers wonder what happened to their partner. So that's second. Sometimes the non-golfers would like to take a spa or a massage. That's another one the golfers get a little bit jealous about. And the last one's really interesting. Most people really like the food in Asia, the Thai cuisine, Vietnamese cuisine. Okay, there you go. We have a cooking class we arrange for the non-golfers, and they actually cook a meal for the golfers. So when the golfers come back, they actually meet at a restaurant and they've used the kitchen. Now, if the non-golfers are a little angry at the golfers, they'll add a little too much chili and make the golfers eat it. But if they're good servers, they'll have a nice meal together, and it's a fun day for the golfers to do some shopping, learn some cooking techniques, enjoy a meal, a glass of wine or craft beer together. And it's a perfect 4-hour combination to what golf is. So those 4 activities usually hit with everybody. No one's bored.
That sounds really cool. I mean, that just it almost feels like you've just gotten all of the potential little nooks and crannies figured out. I mean, like, not only are you taking them shopping and going to the spa, but then you the idea that while they're on the golf course, they're at a restaurant cooking meal that they get to enjoy together. Like, that's just coming full circle. I love that.
Yeah,
so
it turns out great.
Let's say that I book a trip and I go and the weather's terrible, the golf courses are mediocre, I don't have a good time, the resort's not good, the food's not good, and I just have a bad trip. And I will tell you, I very rarely leave my house and have a bad trip, whether I'm going to San Diego or I'm going to China. So it doesn't happen. But let's say that it does. Are you able to work with the individual that had the experience, and what kind of policies do you have when you book a trip for somebody that has a bad experience?
Well, first of all, we've been running trips for 10 years. I think we've handled, last count, about 65,000 golfers. A few people have had some experiences, mostly like they fell down or they hurt themselves or something. Maybe they had a bad shot or get frustrated with their game. It's not really something that the trip, like they didn't like the course or something. But in all cases, we'll work with the people so that they either go home fully happy, or I'll arrange a trip for them again, or in the worst case, I'll give them money back. Because you can play golf 365 days a year. We get some rain, like maybe South Florida gets in the afternoon, but it never gets cold, so you can always golf. The golf courses are usually better than everybody expects. They come to think Asia is kind of like a developing place. The golf course may be an afterthought. But in reality, you have PGA courses built by the top designers, manicured, because the cost of labor is so little that people go out there and cut the grass with scissors. So every day you'd have 100 caddies cutting the grass with scissors, 18 holes, they go around each day a different hole. And so there's no weeds, there's no encroachment, there's no fungus. It's like a perfect environment to grow things here. So that works out well. And then the hotels also, for what you're paying for let's say a 3-star hotel in the United States, you can easily have a 5-star hotel with butler in Asia. You know, you wouldn't pick up your bags, you wouldn't have to do anything, you know, anything at your beck and calls included. It's blows people's minds. So it's not likely, but it does happen that people wouldn't have a good time, and in that case, they're happy to have a full refund. And but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, if they're cutting the grass with scissors and I've got a butler at my hotel, I don't even care if I shoot 95. Let's just go focus on the little things that matter.
If you came on a trip and didn't like, I'd make sure you have craft beer waiting for you in your room.
Hey, all right, but I'm gonna have a horrible time. I need a bucket of craft beer.
You won't go home regretting it, that's for sure.
Awesome. So your website says you are the #1 golf experts in Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, and Indonesia. Now, 1, where did you get that accolade? And 2, are there countries that are not on that list that you're looking to add in the future?
Yeah, all of our business goes to Thailand and Vietnam. Thailand has by far the most golf courses and the biggest golf tourism industry. And Vietnam is fast up and coming, and a lot of interest from Americans due to the history of the country. That probably accounts for 90% of our business. We have people at every single golf course in those countries who are helping people check in, make sure the conditions are right, working with the courses so they know how to handle tourists, helping select caddies for the people that speak English that can provide the service that people are looking for. So that's really what gave us our expertise, to have people on the ground at the courses, at the airports, in the hotels, to handle all of that business. Other countries, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, are coming up, but a little bit slower. There's less golf courses, but a lot more leisure travel. And then beyond that, there's Myanmar and Laos as well that we're starting to organize trips to, although that's also take a little bit more time. So with basically all of the Southeast Asian countries is where we're located, where we have expertise, and we're running trips to.
Now, speaking of Malaysia, as I said, I work for Troon. So Troon, we currently at this time manage 2 facilities in Malaysia, both being affiliated with Ernie Els, the Els Club Teluk Datai and the Els Club Desaru Coast. Have you been to both of those courses? And from what I can see, and I've got a couple of acquaintances that I work with that are at either one of those facilities at any given time, and they just both look unbelievably good. So have you had a chance to visit both of those properties, and do you send a lot of travel to those 2 facilities?
Yes. The Troon course in Langkawi is world-class. It's been around for quite a number of years, but just was remodeled maybe 3 years ago, and I won all sorts of world golf awards. It's a phenomenal island to visit in terms of tourism. Picture perfect postcard tropical island with phenomenal golf course. You can see how appealing it is. And then the new course in Desaru, which is off the west coast of mainland Malaysia and closer to Singapore than anywhere else probably, gets a lot of play from people traveling up from Singapore or doing stopovers in Singapore and want to play some great golf. So both Troon facilities, Ernie Els courses, are excellent. And the Desaru course also has a Vijay Singh course coming up. So there'll be 2 courses there. So
that's really cool.
3.
So do you work with the facility you haven't visited? I don't know if I would be able to, and I probably would, but I would be inspired to go to the facility. But have you worked with, and do you work with courses you haven't visited that you just trust what you see online, or do you actually go out and visit and play? I mean, a little self-serving, but do you go out and play all of the courses that you work with?
Yeah, myself or one of our staff will be out at the courses and having played every single one of them, probably on an ongoing basis, not because the course changes, but we wouldn't sell anything that we haven't been to ourselves, and talk with the management, know what to expect, so we can advise the clients properly. Some people, let's say a course might not have a clubhouse because it's not built yet. The course is great, but we go out and find that out, and we tell people, okay, well, there's not a facility after golf. If they want to play, fine. If not, we can come back next year and there'll be one. Other courses may have maintenance going on. Probably the maintenance is the biggest one where we're out there all the time. The green coring, sanding, most travelers would prefer to avoid those courses on those days. And we need to really get at the course to see for ourselves how heavy a sanding it was and how quick the gas is coming back, and make sure that at least people know in advance, give them a choice if they'd like to change because the course may not be at prime condition, then they would give them a choice. So that's really what we're there for. Pretty much.
So how many people work for the company then? Is it just you and a couple of others, or do you have a big staff? I mean, you said that you have people at the facilities worldwide. I mean, how big is the company?
We have 65 people working for us here in Asia.
Wow, that is awesome. I had no idea.
Yes, we handled 12,000 golfers last year.
That's pretty good.
Pretty big operation. We started 10 years ago from nothing.
Wow, that's really cool. And with my passion for international travel and international, just in general, I have a feeling that past subscribing to your newsletter, I feel like you and I we're gonna talk again in the near future. I have a feeling that we're not gonna be able to not do something together. If nothing else, just play golf.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Where are you based?
I'm in Scottsdale, so I'm in the corporate office here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I bounce around all over the Southwest really whenever I can. But I'm in Scottsdale. But I literally a week from tomorrow, I'm jumping on a plane and I'm headed to Berlin and going to be traveling all over Europe. But I'm not doing it for golf. I'm doing it for craft beer. So going back to, and it's funny because I talk about craft beer, golf, and dance music. And if somebody said tomorrow you have to pick one of the three, I would say no. I'm not going to, because I can't. It's not possible. So now I don't stay at the nicest hotels when I travel, because when I go, I don't go to stay at the hotel. I go to sleep, shower, and leave, because I'm going to go see and be like the locals and go to the dance clubs and go to the bars and the restaurants, etc. So you've been all over the world. What are some of your top 2 or 3 favorite hotels that you've stayed at, and why?
Oh, that's a good question. Like you said, it really depends on the purpose of the trip. If I'm taking a golf trip with friends, we also wouldn't stay at maybe the best hotel, but we'd stay at one that maybe the most convenient, that has easy access to and from the golf courses, close to places we want to go in the evening. And there's thousands of them. I mean, just in a city like Bangkok or New York, there's 1,000 choices to choose. And if that's the case, I'll probably pick something like a 4-star hotel, usually a local branded hotel that gives a little bit unique service. But on the other hand, if I'm going with my wife on a, let's say a second honeymoon, or we're going to go celebrate anniversary, then we definitely would stay at a 5-star resort, some of the beach resorts. We just got back from the West Coast of the United States. Probably the best hotel we've ever stayed at was the Park Hyatt in San Diego. That was a very, very beautiful property with a golf course on it.
Did you play the golf course? Because that golf course is stunning.
Yeah, Aviera is great. It's the service, everything was perfect.
Now,
I like.
Did you get?
I thought you don't stay in places like that.
I don't. I've only played the golf course. I don't know anything about the resort. And it's funny though, because I was there and I actually ended up meeting someone after the fact, because I go to San Diego every year. But on Thanksgiving Day, I'll play either Aviara or Madeiras Golf Club, both Troon affiliated courses. And so 2 years ago I played Madeiras. Last year I played Aviara. This year they just got golf boards at Madeiras, so I'll be playing Madeiras this year on a golf board. But besides the fact, I had literally the first tee time. I'm like, okay, so the sun's coming up as I'm driving. Like, it was dark when I woke up, but I'm driving to the golf course, and I get there, and talking about the staff, it was unbelievable how nice the staff was. And they're like, oh, breakfast is ready for you on the table, and coffee. And I'm like, breakfast? Like full spread, like breakfast, muffins and cookies. And then speaking of cookies, I'm on like the 6th hole, and the marshal comes around, and he's got fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. And on the back 9, he's got lollipops, and he stops and hands me a mango towel. And I'm like, this is just like, I don't even care about golf. Like, let's just focus on the experience. So did you have a similar experience at the golf course?
That's what I mean when I said before, it's hard to imagine someone wouldn't have a good time with everybody helping you and being so friendly. Even, you didn't like you around it, you're going to have a great time. So those type amenities, type service is what we're used to providing here in Asia. And that's why I was so impressed when I went back to San Diego to find something of that high quality. It was excellent.
And the golf course is pretty good too.
Something like that.
That par 3 on the front is just, I don't even know what hole it is, but I birdied the hole, mind you. I hit a 9-iron short of the green, and I putted it through the rough and through the fringe, and I made it. So
good one. So maybe we have to meet up in the west part of the United States next summer. So I go to the U.S. every summer as well.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I'm a 5-hour drive from San Diego, and actually it's to the point now to where we'll leave after work and we'll be at a bar before 11 or 12, and we'll be sitting there having a well, it's not, I was going to say a cocktail, but I don't drink cocktails. And I mean, I got a gin and tonic in my glass right now, but I'm not going to San Diego that has currently 103 breweries in San Diego County, as if I know that, if I count. I'm going for the craft beer, but yeah, I would love to. I'd love to do that. And if you haven't had the chance to play Madeiras Golf Club, let's make a plan the next time you're out there. We'll go play Madeiras and we'll surf the earth on some golf boards.
There we go. My dad lives in Carlsbad, so I'm out there every year.
Oh, well, it's right there. Yeah, and Callaway's based there, and I don't know how much you know about Callaway, but hashtag Chad is the hashtag Ricky. That's my nickname in the office. So Chad is and I've never met him. I only know him online, and I've been trying to get him to come on this show for the longest time, and I don't know if he's real. Like, I'm wondering if that's the case. Like, he's just this like figure that works for Callaway. Like, they've built this robot that posts to their Twitter account. But now, talking about the best hotels that you've been to throughout the world, Eat Sleep Golf wants to know, what are some of the best golf courses that you've played?
You know, I'll ask 1,000 people a year the same question when they come on their trips. You know, what course did you think was the best? And literally, I'll get 900 different answers. When I ask people, and I figured out the secret to a good golf course now after being in the industry, is 3 things. 1 is the course is maintained well. 2 is it's operated well, like what Troon does. And 3 is people get a good score. It doesn't have to be a named designer. It doesn't have to have a championship there. And for me, what's my favorite golf course is one in Bangkok called Thai Country Club, Peninsula Hotel. That's where they cut the grass with the scissors. And it's not that difficult, the grade of a golf course, so I could shoot below my handicap share of the time. So it's like the best experience, and everybody I tell it's the best golf course. Now, okay, if you're like a scratch golfer and you just want to play the hardest course in the world, that's not it. If you like something with dramatic views and scenery, that's not it. But if you want to have a great time, well, give it a try. In Alviera reminded me a little bit of that. The surface level was of that same quality, and the scenery there made it a really good choice. But yeah, I mean, so my favorite Thai Country Club in Bangkok. It's my backyard basically, and the 3 characteristics of a good golf course. You can tell all the designers sorry about it, but operated well and have a good score.
I dislike courses because I have high scores, so I can understand why when I have low scores, I would like the course. So I love that.
I've actually asked all the other golf pros we interview what course they like the best, and it's guaranteed it's one they got a good score at or they won an event at. That's it.
I should have asked that last week because I have a feeling that he would not have said Pumpkin Ridge, even though he lost one of the most important matches of his life, but at the same time is what kind of defined him. And I really encourage you, if you haven't seen that short clip called The Marker, it's that whole video, the 12-minute video is just stunning to think that, you know, thinking about it now, like what would have changed if Tiger hadn't won that championship and Steve would have. And, you know, Steve he's a great individual, and it's cool to be able to, you know, to have met him.
I'm going to watch it right after we get home.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And please email me whenever you're finished to let me know what you thought of it. Now, before we started, I didn't tell you how fast this half an hour would go. We're actually over time, but I have one more question, and then we're going to get to the back 9. Now, you have been to country after country, golf course after golf course. Are there any places in the world that you've not been that you are just dying to visit? Any place that you're just itching to get to?
Yes, Tasmania in Australia. I'm a fair weather golfer, so all the courses that I haven't been to that I'd like to go to are in areas that have pretty bad weather, like the UK, Scotland, Ireland. I wouldn't want to play if I scheduled to play 7 rounds of golf in 10 days, and I was sure 2 or 3 of them might be raining. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't like it. But Tasmania seems to have 2 phenomenal golf courses, and in their summer, which is our winter, the weather's very nice, 75 degrees and sunny, with no rain. So those courses look phenomenal, and there's one area that I want to go play, and I'm sure the weather will be good when I go there. So
to that point of Scotland, I have a good friend that just got back from St. Andrews, and he was playing St. Andrews, and he's wearing just layers of clothes and pants and rain gear, and it looks cloudy and miserable. And I'm like, did you have fun? He's like, oh, it was like 60. Exactly. And I'm like, miserable. Like, there's no way I would enjoy that. Like,
I'm the same. No way. Even if it's the most famous course, I don't care. I don't like it. It's not fun.
Home of golf or not, when it's 90, I'm putting on a jacket.
Exactly. And when rain and wind and this, fine. It's the way golf was developed, but not necessarily what we have to do when we want to play. So
I can't thank you enough for coming on. This has been, I literally could sit here and talk to you for hours, but I know that you have a full day ahead of you. What time is it where you are in Cambodia? My day is wrapping up here in Phoenix. So what time is it where you are?
We're 9:50 in the morning. So
okay. So it's tomorrow. It's Thursday where you are too.
Thursday morning. We're 18 hours ahead of you, so it's 16 hours. But yeah, I'm ready to go to work today. So.
Well, before I let you go to work, we got 9 more questions that are just quick fun, not really focused on golfasian.com, not really focused on anything more than this, you and the game of golf. So, you ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Outside of English, how many languages do you speak?
2, Japanese and Thai.
Now, I did not see that coming. That could be a whole nother conversation.
Well, I lived in both countries. That's the only reason. And I make it a point where I live to learn the language. It opens a lot of doors, and it's a lot more fun.
That's really cool. So out of all of it, now, I just this week I was at a CMAA meeting, and Bill McMahon from the McMahon Group said, you don't have to play golf to be a member at a private club, but all golfers, whether they play golf or they don't, have to eat. And that got me thinking, with you being so worldly, what is the most unique, there's got to be just one meal that is so unique that you've had, that you've eaten something that nobody on this hangout that's watching would have ever thought that you could have eaten. What is one of the most memorable meals you've had while in your travels worldwide?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably not so unique or memorable, but every time I golf, when I finish, I eat a bowl of noodle soup. And the noodle soup itself is not so strange, but it's some of the vegetables and meats that are in the soup. Basically, it's a meal in a bowl. It's kind of like comfort food to me. Maybe like macaroni and cheese would be to someone else, but I eat a bowl of noodle soup every time I golf.
That I don't have a tradition like that, and not that noodle soup is going to be it. I think that drinking a beer is going to be probably more likely, but I do
with the beer. So
I do like that. Very cool. So now I know Facebook's not available in every country in the world, but where you are, is Facebook available, or are you using a VPN to connect to the social side of things?
No, Facebook's available in all the countries in Southeast Asia. There's all the social medias completely unregulated.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Have you ever had an ace? Say that 5 times real fast.
Yeah, I've had 4 hole-in-ones.
I just want one. Will you share?
I have 4. I've had the first 3 I had were like within 1 month of one another on trips that I organized. I was hosting other people on my own trip. I was almost embarrassed that the golf courses where we were hosting us, and they didn't even let me pay for anything. It was kind of special. The first one was at the first tee off, the first shot of the morning, so like around 6:05 in the morning, and everybody was gathered around, the club management, the caddies, the staff, and the ball sailed right into a hole. You don't start with many par 3s in the first hole, and the ball sailed right into the hole. It didn't even bounce. I didn't see it. It's incredible.
That is incredible. That's really cool.
But I haven't had any in a long time. That was almost 7, 8 years ago.
That's fine. You got 4. You don't need any more. It's time for me to have one.
How about
So, do you spend a lot of time in China?
you? I don't spend much time in China. We're only focusing on the southern part of Asia. But I'll be going on some sales calls next week to China to meet some of our agents there. But for the most part, we stick to the warmer climates south of China, Vietnam on down.
Very cool. So as much as you travel and as much as you play golf, and it's probably in your cup right now, you probably drink a lot of coffee. How do you take your coffee?
Would you believe two things I don't eat? One is I don't drink coffee, but I do drink tea. So I drink jasmine tea every morning, and I just drink it black. And then I don't eat beef.
Really?
Yeah, no beef, no coffee, which is bizarre because there's no relation of one to the other.
No,
but I'll eat everything. I like animals that are smaller size. I don't think they taste that good.
Huh. That is
the largest animal I'll eat.
Okay, I'll allow that. Now, the fact that he's above me and behind me and beside me, and I don't know how much you know about my obsession with the tiger, the big cat, as he were. Now, I've asked, and for 3 years I did this show, and I did it on Friday afternoons, and then in the beginning of 2016, with the help of Eat Sleep Golf, I changed it to a Wednesday night, just a kind of a match play, so to speak, hashtag Wednesday match play. I've asked this question. I'm going to continue to ask it until the day that he retires. Now, be nice, depending on how you answer this, but do you think the Tiger comes back and breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
I don't think he'll come back. And he'd like to, but I don't think he has the mental strength to recover from where he is now.
Now, you say you don't think he'll come back. You think he's done completely, or you don't think he'll come back to break the record?
Yeah, I think he's done completely. I'd like to see him come back. I'd like to see him break Jack's record. And I love watching him and what he's done for the game, and I hope he does come back. But you know how the mental aspect of the game is maybe more important than the physical at that level. And I think he's lost it, and I don't think it's going to come back.
That's not the answer that I wanted, but that's an answer that I will respect, and I will allow that answer to exist on this show versus shutting my laptop.
I like him, and I want me to be wrong. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, I want you to be wrong too. No offense, but I want you to be real wrong. And your final question of your hashtag Wednesday match play is, what's next? I mean, it sounds like you got a lot of things working. You got a lot of stuff. You're planning a lot of trips for a lot of golfers. But what's next for Golfasian?
I wouldn't put it by us to actually buying a golf course. There's a few golf courses that we maybe will partner with on take over the sales and marketing for the golf course, or maybe actually invest some money to a partnership. It would make a lot of sense if we could be vertically integrated. Same with the hotel. We may be looking at acquiring a hotel or some interest in sales and marketing of a hotel. So if we could do that, then we'd be able to control all the aspects of the trip, from golf, hotel, transfer, everything.
Very cool. In what country are you considering doing that? In Bangkok, or would it be somewhere else, like in Cambodia or Malaysia?
Probably Thailand.
Thailand, okay.
That's where it's strongest. That's where the biggest interest is. And a lot of the facilities are getting to be 20, 25 years old, so they need to make some decisions, either to reinvest, to upgrade them, or sell the assets, or partner with other companies who are stronger. So I think it's a good time.
Well, Mark, I can't thank you enough again for coming on the show. This has been awesome. And like I said, I literally could sit here and talk to you all night about all of your travels and all the stuff you've done. But it's early where you are, and you've probably got a tee time to hit. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And as always, and as I know both of us are doing, is we have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.